Let's get into it, baby. Welcome to the podcast known as Gagging on Gangrene. With your host, Michael Rosado. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, welcome to the podcast, Gagging on Gangrene, and I am your host, Mike Rosado. I am here to talk to you about my favorite NFL football team, the New York Jets. Just so happens that my favorite NFL team is also my greatest disappointment. Each and every week, I throw on my colors, I head to my favorite bar, and I yell, cheer, and scream for this team, the same as each and every one of you do. But yet, each and every week, I feel used, abused, and disappointed by this team. I'm tired of buying the merchandise, I'm tired of buying tickets for the game, and I'm tired of trying to support a team that is not giving us anything in return. I'm not going to stop being a Jets fan, but I'm not going to be quiet about my grievances either. It is time for us to rise up and take a stand and look them in the face for once and go, we're not taking this anymore. You promised us a dynasty and you gave us a circus, and we're not going to take it anymore. So I'm here to talk to you, especially on this episode, about Rex Ryan. We're going to start off right there. Got to start off at where everything begins and ends at. Then we're going to move on to Mark Sanchez and the quarterback situation in New York. And from there, we're going to take an extremely brief look at our roster going into training camp. I'm going to give you my opinions on who I believe is going to rise up, who's going to be left in the backfield, who's going to make a real big impact for us. So if you're listening to this podcast, I'd advise you get in, you strap it on tight, and you better put on a helmet, because it's going to get fast, it's going to get bumpy, and it's going to be quick. So, moving on, we're taking a look at you first, Rex Ryan. Let's get it going now.
Do you want it or not?
I'm not going to apologize for anything that I say.
Ground and pound, baby. It's going to be a ground and pounder.
And now we'll take this time to talk about El Jefe, the head of the Hydra himself, Rex Ryan. Rex, us Jets fans have one question to ask you. What in the hell is going on with this team's offense? Because I can't figure it out. I really can't. And I don't think the addition of Morningwig is going to fix this. Let's face it, that is the problem with this team, is this offense. Defensively, I'm not even going to worry about it that much. We were still ranked 8th last year, although we were ranked 26th against the run. That is unacceptable. I don't care how you look at it, that's unacceptable. If you can't stop the run, you have a lot of trouble beating a lot of football teams in this league. But you don't need me to tell you that. I don't need to reiterate that anymore for you. Although I will remind you something, that last year, offensively, we were ranked 30th. 30th. We were ranked behind Jacksonville. How in the hell were we ranked behind Jacksonville? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But you know what? Maybe Morningwig is the answer. Maybe Marty's going to have this huge, great game plan for us, and we're going to move up, and we're going to make a statement. We're going to catch everyone by surprise. And then again, maybe not. I would love to believe that. I would wholeheartedly, truly love to believe that, but I can't. I have common sense in a brain. Mr. Morningwig came from the Eagles last year, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm also not mistaken, the Eagles lost 12 of 13 games to end their season last year. Yeah, I'm brimming with pride now. Oh, let me tell you, my heart is thumping with anticipation of this offense. Now, granted, his offense was ranked 15 places higher than ours was in total offense. But within the top 20, they also had the least points per game. And he likes to pass the ball a lot. Nothing about this is exciting me about this new offensive regime. Nothing. Now, granted, I know a lot of our offense is going to revolve around one player who I will get to momentarily. Have no fear on that one. We will get to him. No question. But right now, I'm going to talk primarily on these two coaches. And Rex, I know defensively, I believe you're taking over more of the play calling, so I'm not really worried about the X's and O's there. We'll even talk about the new rookie you got, who I'm real excited. Actually, the two new rookies you got, who I'm real excited for, especially one of them. Even though he's taking the place of my favorite player on the team, Mr. Darrelle Revis, who I am saddened is gone. Oh, I'm going to miss me some Darrelle Revis. Revis Island will be sorely missed from New York. And, you know, I was heartbroken when I found out that he was not going to be a Jet. I really thought this would be that one player who would finish his career, or at least play a great portion of it, in the Big Apple. But apparently, he had to go. I don't know why he had to go. I know he was expensive, and I know he was a bit of an injury risk, but he was also the best in his position. And when he's healthy, you can't complete a pass in his direction. You just can't do it. But fine. That's something we just have to deal with, and we have to move on. And the rookie they got to replace him is no slouch. If he can avoid his injury problems, that boy's going to be the truth as well. So I'm not too worried about it. Although I still love me some Terrell. Still love me some Terrell. And the absence of Bart Scott, that one hurts a little bit too. He was getting up there in age. He had lost a bit of a step. He's still a great leader. He's still a great football player. But, not quite as good as he was. And I can understand the departure with him. As much as it hurts, it also helps in a way too. Get some younger talent in there. Okay, fine. I can deal with that. Especially in a 3-4 offense, or excuse me, a 3-4 defense. Can't believe I said offense. 3-4 defense. You need a little more mobility in your linebackers. You just do. That's the way that offense is. Oh God, the defense is ran. So I was spending so much time complaining about the offense. Every time I'm trying to say defense, I say offense. My Lord, stop. Anyway, moving on. Oh Lordy. Anyway, we were ranked 8th in defense last year, as I believe I've said before, and Rick's taking over some more of the play calling. And this morning Wig better step up and make something of this offense. I want to know if this guy can fix whatever the hell is wrong with Mark. Can he do it? I mean, I personally think no, only Mark can fix what's wrong with Mark. But it doesn't seem like Mark wants to fix it. And what are we as fans going to do about this? I guess there's not much we can do but sit in our hands and take it. But at least I'm making my voice heard about it. And it may not be perfect, but dag it, I'm saying it. I'm saying what a lot of you are thinking. And if somebody out there can say it better than me, God bless you. I will listen to each and every word you have to say. Believe me, I will. But as a coaching staff, I want to know what the plan is to make this team better. Especially this offense. And our special teams weren't even that good. And our special teams are usually the one bright shining spot in all of our freaking, in all of our squads. And even they weren't that good. So I know we have personnel problems. I know we have injury problems. But I also know these are fixable problems. And Mr. Ryan, it's up to you to fix these problems. And we'll be watching each and every game, and we'll be chiming in to let you know how we feel about it. Don't give us any excuses. Well, then again, you really don't give excuses to begin with, so I'll give you that one. You're not really an excuse kind of guy. So, on that part, I'll give it to you. But don't hand us this and call it a product. Oh, no. 6-10 is not a product. 6-10 is a failure. 6-10 is abysmal. And it better not get any worse. Barely anybody's picking us to win more than 4 games this year. I don't believe that. I'm believing at least 6 to 8. But can it happen? Can we be anywhere near playoff contendency? Let's forget about winning the division, people. I mean, I would love to believe that we have a shot against New England. Hell, I would love to believe we have a shot against Miami. Right now, I don't believe so. Looking at this roster, I don't believe offensively we can do it. We can't keep up with any team offensively. We just can't. Now, maybe the addition of Chris Ivory will help. We'll get into that when we take a brief overlook at the roster. But, we need to find some kind of rhythm. We need to find some kind of good game plan. And pretty much that lies in Rex's hands. He's the one who has to delegate these jobs to people and make sure they're all doing the right thing. But hey, like I said, I personally can't make it happen. I personally can't go in there and change everything. And if I could, I'd probably screw it up worse than any of them would. I'm just some schmuck on a podcast. I'm no football coach. I couldn't tell you, a counter trade from a sweep. But hey, maybe they're going to come out and surprise us this year. Maybe they're going to come out and knock us on our feet with how good they actually are. Once again, I don't believe it, but I can hope. And hope's the one thing we have, people. Hope's the one thing they cannot take away from us. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that we can still have hope, if nothing else. Hope and a beer and a shot. That's what I usually have when I think about the Jets. So I want my listeners out there to tell me what you think this team's going to do. And be honest. Don't be too harsh unless you really feel that way. And don't put this team in playoff contention unless you truly believe it. And if you believe that one, I want to hear reasons. I really do. So now that I've talked enough about the coaches, we're going to move on to my favorite part of this episode, where we talk about the quarterback controversy. We're talking about little Mr. Mark Sanchez against Geno Smith, and his job finally at legitimate risk. Will this be enough to push him over the edge? Will this be enough to finally make him realize what he's not doing right and finally fix it? Or will he finally get left to the wayside and let this new rookie come in and do whatever he has to do? Only time will tell, but the clock is ticking, and we're going to find out soon enough. So here we go. We're going to start talking about Mr. Mark Sanchez as we see it.
Right, Sanchez pumps once, fires it, deep right, bam!
That is why I breathe!
Which brings me to my next point. Mr. Mark Sanchez. Oh, Mark. What are we going to do with you, Mark? I'm really trying to figure out what the heck we can do with you. If any of us, the normal folk, you know, the normies, were as bad as you were at your job, we've been pink slipped, we've been tossed out of a door, and we've been told the cops are coming in 5 minutes if we don't leave the premises. That's how bad you were at your job last year. I mean, you were just dismal. How can you call yourself an NFL quarterback with these kind of stats? And I know numbers aren't everything, but wins and losses are. And in the win-loss column, you didn't do great either. And for any offensive player, for any football player in general, turnovers are a huge thing. And my man, over the last 2 seasons, not one quarterback in the NFL can compare to how many turnovers you have. Not one. Wow. That's staggeringly bad. Not only that, but I can give you your turnover stats for last year. Now, to any listener out there who thinks I'm being a little too harsh on this boy to start off, I'm going to give you some stats, and I want you to realize why I'm saying each and every one of these things. First of all, his QBR rating. And for everybody who doesn't know what a QBR is, let's take pretty much the most important stats, a little bit of one big pile, they do some kind of real cool mathematical equation, and they come up with a number between 0 and 100 to figure out how good you are. So imagine it like a test, like a final exam for the year. Okay, now they do it for game and everything, like per game and everything like that. But I have his final exam number. Now this is your grade in high school or in college. Then it kicks you out of the class. His QBR is 23.4, the lowest in the NFL among all quarterbacks. That means even the ones who went down and the people they got replaced by had higher QBRs than Mark Sanchez. Wow. 23.4. I mean, how do you sleep at night, man? And one of his greatest problems is his turnovers. How can you call yourself a football player if you have that many turnovers? I'm going to give you a quick rundown of his turnovers. 18 interceptions, okay? Oh, by the way, he did have touchdowns last year. He did throw a couple. I was shocked to find that out, too. He had 13 of them. I'm surprised he hit double digits. The way he played last year, oh my God. He has 18 interceptions over 15 games. So let's remember, he didn't play one game last year. So, wow. You had 18 interceptions in 15 games. Pathetic. You also had 14 fumbles. And when we're talking about fumbles, you lost 8 of those. 8 of them. And the granddaddy of them all, Thanksgiving, against the Patriots, you know, the one where you literally ran into your own lineman, caught the football, and became the #1 blooper highlight for the rest of the year. Oh, man, I'm starting to get lightheaded thinking about this. I really am. And it's starting to make my blood boil. Because I'm not saying I was expecting you to be a great quarterback, but I was expecting you to learn how to be efficient. Make first downs, move the ball downfield, and keep us in a chance to win the game. And fine, if our defense has to win more of them, I'm okay with that as long as you don't keep giving the ball back to the offense. Because if I'm a defensive player and I have to keep running back to the sideline each and every time, well, okay, let's give a situation here. Let's say I'm a defensive player, and we just got our second 3-and-out in a row, okay? I'm heading back to the sideline, and before the Gatorade even touches my mouth, we're coming back out because our quarterback just coughed up the ball again. If this keeps happening over time, I'm going to start becoming real disgruntled about it. I'm going to start going, why am I putting my body on the line for this guy? He's supposed to be leading us to victory, and he is literally handing them the football. You had 18 interceptions and lost 8 fumbles. Let's go over your career interceptions and fumbles real quick, okay? Career interceptions. You have 69 career interceptions in 4 NFL seasons. Hot damn, man. Wow. My eyes watered a little bit when I saw that stat. 69 interceptions in 4 years. Unbelievable. I can forgive the first and maybe the second season, but 69 in 4 years? How do you have 69 interceptions in 4 years, my man? But as staggering as that stat is, and it is, I was blown away by the next one. I almost fell out my chair when I read the next one. You have 43 fumbles. You are a quarterback. How do you fumble the ball 43 times? Unbelievable, which is why I'm glad Gino's there now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you start thinking that I am praising Geno and putting him on this pedestal, I'm not. I am really not. But it can't get any worse for us right now, can it? Can anybody else turn over the ball this much? Can anybody else give games away like this guy does? Now, granted, I know that there were injury problems last year. We had Hill out. We had Holmes out. We had Keller out. But on the other hand, does it really count for that many turnovers? Does it really? I don't believe so. I don't believe so in any way, shape, or form. Let's face it, you still got to be efficient to a degree, don't you? I mean, that's why you're the quarterback. If Peyton Manning's top three targets went down, he wouldn't throw 18 interceptions. I guarantee you he wouldn't. He would find a way to remain efficient. Now, I know what a lot of you are screaming in my ear right now. Mark Sanchez, no Peyton Manning. Duh. I could have told you that. A blind man could have told you that. Man who's never even heard of football could have. I don't think Mark Sanchez is good at Peyton Manning. And the only sport he may follow is tennis, and would still know that stat. So I was just using it as a quick example of what good quarterbacks do in bad situations, as opposed to what bad quarterbacks do in bad situations. And what a bad quarterback does in a bad situation is make the situation worse. And that's what he did last year. It seemed no matter how much gas got thrown on the fire, he had another bucket of it ready to go. And it grows tiresome after a while. It really does. And, you know, I'm excited to see what Geno can do. Now, do I think he's going to be the be-all and all of our problems? Absolutely not. No way is that the case. I'm just saying, can it really get any worse? At least Geno Smith is fresh. At least he's energetic. At least he looks like he wants to play some football. Because, Mark, I'm going to tell you, last year, it really didn't look like you wanted to play. All your security blankets were taken away. You didn't know what to do. And we can't have that. Just Nation will not tolerate this anymore. And if we all remember, at the Knicks game, when he showed up, what happened then? Oh, yeah. Quick reminder. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Sanchez. Boo! Go home! And I agree with him. I really do. Mr. USC, the one stat that I was excited about when you came out of college was you always show up for the big game. Problem is, lately you have trouble getting to a big game. And anytime you play a division, that's a big game. Make no mistake about it. You got to win your division. And that's something we expect to do with you by now. And it hasn't happened. Because you can't hold on to a football. You ask any football coach of any level, any football player at any level, and they will tell you, turnovers are the worst thing to have. No matter how bad your yards per carry average is, no matter how many passes beyond 20 yards you don't have, how many missed blocks you have, you cannot cough up a football. That is the worst stat to have. Because when you have a high number of turnovers, you're giving a game away. Now, if a team's just stopping you, if they're just stopping your run game, or they're just shutting down your passing game, that's one thing. That's just a better team. But when you're just giving balls away, and I don't believe that we're that bad that we're just getting out-schemed for all these turnovers. I don't believe it. I believe that one major player is making it happen like that. And that'd be you, Mr. Sanchez. And Geno Smith's coming off what some consider a good but lukewarm college season. Oh, forgive me. Geno stats, he had 369 completions for 518 attempts, which was his completion percentage of 71.2. Not a bad completion percentage. He had over 4,000 yards passing. He had 42 touchdowns and only threw for 6 interceptions. Now, I'm not stupid. I know he got exposed last year. I know he lost a couple big games and he got trounced in some of them. I know those are somewhat padded stats. I'm not blind to that. But let me ask you the question. Do you see him throwing? Well, maybe he will throw 18 interceptions. But you know what? He might find a way to get a few more touchdown balls too. And everybody's saying we lack offense on the offensive side of the ball, or we lack talent on the offensive side of the ball. We may, but the one way you negate not having a lot of talent is being efficient. You may not have the best players, but the players you have know what they're doing. And that's the level we have to get at. If we can't out-talent teams, we have to outwork them. And that's what it's going to come down to. Can we outwork these teams? It's the highest level. And you got to be the highest level of efficiency to do it. Can it be done? Brings me back to the question I asked before when I was talking about the coaches. With this quarterback, absolutely not. Because he doesn't have a heart anymore. At least the old quarterback, at least, you know, a good quarterback for 4 quarters. I could think of one right off the bat. My personal favorite Jets quarterback within my lifetime. Vinny Testaverde. Was he the best quarterback? Not by a mile. But you know what? He was a fighting quarterback. He'd fight you for 4 quarters. Win, lose, or draw, even in a blowout. If he's taking a snap, he's going to fight you. And you know what receivers he had? He has Centeno Moss and Wayne Corbett. There's a couple others in there, don't get me wrong, but those are the 2 that stand out in my mind. Were those 2... Well, okay, Centeno Moss was a pretty elite receiver, even for his size, because you know what? He always found a way to get open. He was so fast. And Wayne Corbett was just tough. And you know what? That was a tough squad. Whether they made things happen or not, that was a tough squad. And arguably, better than the, we could argue that the squad the first few years in the Rex regime were better, and they probably were. But you know what? I'll take that heart. I'll take the heart of that quarterback any given day of the week. Because you know what? Like I said before, he fight you. He fight you for 4 quarters. And you know what, Mark? I don't see any fight left in you. I don't see the passion of the game within you anymore. And you got to be passionate about this game. I don't care what level you're playing at, how much you're getting paid. If you don't have passion, you're done. You're just done. And I know some people out there might be saying that, Curtis Martin didn't even know about the game of football. He just played for the money. But you know what? He worked. And he had passion for the work ethic. And he would outwork you every day. Curtis Martin wasn't one of the traditionally best running backs. He was one of the most efficient because he worked every single day. He worked every single down. Even if he lost yardage, was he always perfect? Absolutely not. But he was consistent because he was consistent in his work ethic. And when LT left the Jets, that's what broke my heart because I knew the true leader of that Jets offense was gone. And it showed the last 2 years. It has shown. That offense has been exposed. It has been broken down. And it all revolves around you, Mark, once again. I believe I said it before. But in case I haven't, let me reiterate it one more time. This offense goes as far as you carry it. How far can you carry this offense, Mark? Stop the turnovers. Stop giving games away to these people. We're going to have enough time trying to win games just outright legitimately. Don't give them these games. Stop doing that. We don't need that. We need efficiency. We need leadership, and we need heart. And that's what I need from you. That's what we as Jets Nation need from you. Are you willing to deliver, or are you going to screw the pooch on this one? Now that my blood's boiling, I need to calm down a little bit. Because thinking about that entire scenario is giving me a splitting headache. So we're going to move on from this. I've said my piece now. I finally said what so many of you out there have been saying all along. On your Facebook pages, through text messages with your friends, whatever mediums you have chosen to communicate with other people about it, I've said pretty much the same things you've been thinking. Now you have some stats to back up your worries. You have some stats to back up your fears, okay? And I'm glad about that. I'm glad if you didn't get it from somewhere else that you got it from me, at least it's in your head now, how bad this guy was last year. Because you knew he was bad. I want you to know how bad he was. And how much of a change we need. Either changes, he needs to make a change in his own play and get better and keep his job, or the change needs to, he needs to get out of town, and Geno Smith needs to come in and make something happen until the next big thing comes around for us. Now with that being said, like I said before, we are going to move on. I'm going to talk very, very briefly about our roster going into training camp. We're going to talk about our pros and cons, some of the rookies and their potential. We're going to see who's going to step up, who's going to be left in the background, and who's really going to make an impact for this team. So that being said, let's get on with it. Let's get it going.
Less talk and more action.
They can't stop a nosebleed. I'm your friend. Yeah.
And here's where I take a very brief overlook at the offense and defense of the New York Jets. We're going to see what we have coming in, who's going to make some plays, and who's really going to stand out. Now, of course, our offensive line, I believe, is going to take a step forward. With Mangle and Ferguson up there, I truly believe that they're going to get the rest of the unit together. They're going to get them on page, and this year we're going to open up a few more holes offensively. We're going to get the run game going a little bit better, and we are going to get some better pass protection. So that I'm at least happy about. The wide receiver situation, however, I am not. Between Holmes and Hill, I'm really not feeling a lot of key receptions there. I'm not seeing a lot of first down. Hill drops the ball far too often, and Holmes, even when he is healthy, he's still an undersized number one receiver. He's fast, he can get open, but on a consistent basis, he seems to struggle. And if I'm the only one seeing that, then so be it. I've already talked at great length about the quarterback. I don't need to freaking go into that one anymore. And then our running back position, we got Ivory, we got Goodson. Ivory's going to make some plays for us. He's another one, if stays healthy, can make a difference. And Goodson and Blaupau are going to be great options out of the backfield for the pass game. They really are. So on the offensive side of the ball, the pros and cons, they weigh out about 50-50 for me. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to start right up front. Mo Wilkerson, I believe he's going to continue to progress and become a solid NFL player. We got Gary, who's working the nose, and really, Not really feeling anything. Now, Richardson, I saw his college tape. And let me tell you what, that boy, he's got real potential. He's got real skill at playing the defensive end position. I believe he can get in the backfield. I believe he can wreak havoc on some quarterbacks. And if he gets going and if we can create a scheme that lets him get free, he is going to do wonders for us. Now, our linebacking core, we got Cobles and Davis on the left side. Overall, I say about average. But on the right side, we got David Harris, who always is an above-average linebacker. More times than not, he will make the big play, will make the big tackle. And it's just a perennial leader of that defense. You gotta love having him. You gotta be excited. And Barnes, David Harris will make sure he's in the right position. So will the defensive coaches. So he'll be okay. Will he do anything stand out? I'm not really believing so, but hey, if I'm wrong, that's one area I'm happy to be wrong. And now we take a look at our cornerback situation. We got Antonio Cromartie. Now, Antonio Cromartie has had his tendencies to like space off and, sometimes forget where he's supposed to be. But when he's locked in, that boy is locked in as good as almost every quarterback in the league. So I'm really not worried about it. Antonio Cromartie is a hard worker. Antonio Cromartie is a very talented cornerback. And as long as he can stay healthy, stay on his feet, and keep making plays, he will be, as always, a key part of this defense. Now we got Landry. Landry's a Pro Bowler last year, so we're feeling good about that. And Bush, we'll see. I'm not gonna chime in anything about that boy right now. I'm just not. But I will chime in on this one, our right cornerback position. We got D. Milliner. And D. Milliner coming out of college. Oh my God, I saw this boy's college tape. Oh, you talk about a guy who, if there is going to be a Darrell Revis out of this draft, he was it. This boy, when he is healthy, and I know he's battling injury problems, he does not let the receiver go wherever they want to go. No. The receiver goes where he wants him to go. He sticks on you. He's tight about it. He is very, very talented. And he can come out of nowhere and boom, pop the ball out of the air and run it back. He's got that kind of speed too. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do and how he's going to fill those huge shoes that are left by Darrell Revis. But as overall, like I said, I'm predicting about a 7 and 8 win season, and that's being very optimistic, considering that we have no real pass game. Although I do believe that offensive line is going to step up. I believe they're going to get that crew completely together, and they'll be a top 10 offensive line. It's that wide receiver core. It's who's catching the ball and who's throwing it that really scared me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of my broadcast, and I thank you for bearing with me. It may not have been perfect, but these are my words personally to you. If there's for all the Jets fans out there who hear this and want to chime in and tell me your fears and your hopes and your prayers for this team, please let me know. Like I said, I know it wasn't perfect, but you know what? It's my passion, and this team is my passion. I love the game of football, and I love my New York Jets, and I want to see them done better. I want to see them done right, and I want to see us done right by them. So, I shall leave you with these words and thoughts. Either be good or be good at it, because in life, all we got is our word. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and until next time.